Hi everybody, Scott McGuire here with the Talking Plants Garden Club. Hey, I just want to start off today by thanking you for being with me. I'm making these videos to help people become better aware of their food supply and become better gardeners. So one of the things I talk about a lot is how to prepare yourself for growing food, for having food, for storing food, to how to engage your life in all the different aspects of growing food. I want to tell you about a story. It's not really a story, it's more of a parable. It's more of a cautionary tale. And this is a story called Two Canoes. It's something I learned from a native man, an old Arapaho man named Henry. And I used to hang out with Henry a lot. I would drive him around to powwows and sweat lodges, buy him cigarettes and coffee, and he was a wonderful old guy, and he was quite a teacher. He had a lot of wisdom. And he would always tell us this story about the two canoes. So I want to tell you that story today because it's really important right now. For most of my life, I've been listening to Native American prophecies. I've been very fortunate enough to be a part of the people who were sharing those prophecies with the white folks, because most of us never got a chance to learn from the native tribes the way they taught themselves. So I've been studying the Hopi prophecy, all the different native prophecies about these times that we're in right now, okay? And all of them have a crossroads in them. The Hopi prophecy has a fork in the road, and essentially, it's much more complex than this, but essentially there's a road that follows the white man's path, the industrialized consumer model of existence. And then there's this other path that splits off that is more of the native path, the path of the earth, the green path of living lightly on the earth, feeding ourselves, taking care of everyone, including nature. And at the time I was learning about this, both of those paths were still the same. They were both going on at the same time. According to those teachers that I had, like Thomas Panyaka of the Hopi tribe, we had not yet reached the fork in the road where we were going to have to decide whether we take the green path of Mother Earth or we take the industrial path of death and destruction, as it would turn out. So when I was hanging out with Henry, the old Arapaho guy, he would tell the story of the two canoes. And it was a very similar story. It goes like this. He says, in this life, right now, where we are, we all have to have two canoes, okay? And we have to have one canoe that has your computer and your car insurance and your driver's license and your job and whatever the stuff is that you need to get along in this world, right here, right now, this industrial, consumer-based reality that we're in, okay? But he said, you also have to have another canoe. You gotta have two canoes. So you have to have a different canoe. And in that canoe is where you put all your garden tools. It's where you put your seeds. Okay? It's where you put all your knowledge about how to take care of yourself and how to take care of the other people and the other life forms on Earth. And he says, we gotta lash those two canoes together. Okay? Because we're just rolling down the river of life, and we need mostly the stuff in the one canoe right now. But he says, you got to have that other canoe with all that stuff in it. So take some time to prepare yourself and get yourself ready with that other canoe and keep those two canoes lashed together. Now, if you've ever been rafting, which is one of the funnest things I've ever done, is to be on a raft going down a river, whitewater rafting, okay? And what happens is you're floating along and it's very sweet and you're having a beer and watching the ospreys dive, and it's very blissful. And then you start to hear this hum. There's this kind of background sound that starts happening, and you go around another bend in the river and it's louder. And now it's kind of a roar. And what is this? And you realize that that's the rapids coming up. That there's a set of rapids coming, and the calm river is going to end, and you're going to be shooting that whitewater. And it's a really ominous sound in the air. You can hear what you're going to encounter within minutes here. And so that's what Henry said would happen. We'd be going along with both of our canoes And many, many people are only going to have one canoe. They're only going to have that one with the computer and all their electronics and all that stuff. He says, what's happening, what's going to happen, and what I'm telling you is what's happening right now, is I'm hearing the roar of the rapids, okay? They are very, very close. Maybe one more turn around the bend, and we're going to be in those rapids, okay? And so what Henry said to do, and which I'm so grateful that he told us this whole story, and I think of it now, is you're going to have to cut the lashings on your canoe. There's going to come a time before you run those rapids that you got to cut those ropes, and you got to separate those canoes, and you got to jump in the canoe with all the things that you need to survive now. When you come out of those rapids, it's going to be a very different world. And if all you have is that one canoe, then you're not going to be set up to take care of yourself when you come through the rapids. So I'm here to tell you right now that we are about to approach the rapids. We need to have all those things together. So I just wanted to tell you that story to let you know that this is the time we're in. I think this growing season is very important. I think we all need to grow as much food as we possibly can, because I think there's going to be a lot of food shortages coming up. There's all kinds of signs and news reports that are very concerning to me, that the sound of the rapids, yes, that we're heading into that time, and that we're going to need to be very careful and very diligent in the days to come. So I wish you all well. I wish you all that it takes to get through these rapids. Thanks.